and welcome to Model Kit Stuff, and today's Focus on Tools video is looking at this, the FlexiFile. So this is the FlexiFile frame, and you can buy this as a single frame, as I have, which comes with a selection of abrasives, or you can buy it in sets with multiple frames so that you can have the abrasives permanently on your frame, and you can buy a little storage device for it so that you can have frames lined up and you can just grab them as you use them. But for me, I bought this for a particular reason, so I just bought the one to try it, and I quite like it. I don't use it a lot, but when I do, I always think, I should use this more. So it's one of those sort of tools. So what is it and how does it work? So basically, this is a tool for sanding curves. And the idea of it is it comes with a selection of different tapes of different grits. You can buy them in multi-packs, and you can buy them in individual packs of the same grit. There's lots and lots of them available. If you buy the single frame, you basically get a frame and one of each tape, I think, pretty much like this pack here, and that costs you around about £17 currently in the UK. And then the refill packs on their own, they're about £3.50 to £4, something like that. And then if you want to buy a set with more frames, then they're £25 upwards, depending on how many frames you get in there. But basically how they work is the abrasives are on a ribbon, single-sided ribbon, and they have a little loop at the end, like that, which hooks around this little pin sticking out of each end of the frame. And you have to squeeze the frame in a little bit to get this on, and the frame then holds that ribbon totally taut. And the basic idea is when you're sanding a curve, you don't put a flat on it. So let's show you that. So basically the idea is this tool will help you avoid flat spots by using different grits and applying different levels of pressure. The tape will give a bit like a sponge does, I suppose, and allow you to sand without causing any flat spots. So let's show you. There you go. So basically what it does is it follows the curve. Now the lighter you press, the better it is. See, I'm hardly pressing that, and it's just gently cutting through the paint, whereas when I pressed there, we went straight into this. And I've got the coarse one on here as well. So if you press lightly, you can very gently take that down. And then you pass through the grits and get a nice smooth curve. I have just done these this gun barrel with this tool, and you can see that's totally smooth. I've done the seams on it, I've done the connection points on it, and you wouldn't know that had ever had any imperfections on that at all. Totally smooth. So I bought it for aircraft fuselages. I think I was doing a Concorde. In fact, I was commissioned to do a Concorde, and I bought this to try it on the Concorde, and it worked quite well, to be fair. And these are my original tapes with it. I've got some refills, as you can see, but they actually last a fair while. They do wear, so basically your grits get finer and finer as you go. I mean, when I feel the middle of that, it's very low grit compared to the edges, which it used to be. But yeah, it's quite a handy little tool. The frame is aluminium, so it's not heavy at all. It's really quite light, and it's very easy to swap out your ribbons whenever you want. So what I tend to do is keep my ribbons with it and then swap my ribbons rather than having multiple frames with a ribbon permanently on. It almost takes as long to change the ribbon as it does to pick up another frame. So I personally don't see the point. Save your money, buy one frame with assorted grits, and then just buy your replacement grits. Now what I do find is that the very coarse grit I don't use very often, because when it drops down a grit, it drops down quite quickly, and so there's a lot of work to take the scratching out from this first grit. So it does depend on your job, obviously. So I tend to find that these are the grits that I replace the most, the 400 and the 320. So that gives me a nice medium and fine. This is the lower end of medium. The orange one there is probably the one I use the most. This would be equivalent, I would say, of about a 400 grit, something like that. I think they call it a 280. It doesn't actually have the grit numbers on it, which is one of the downsides. But I would say it feels like a sort of a 400 on a sanding sponge. So yeah, it is really helpful. If you do a lot of aviation modelling, then you will find that it is useful for all those spherical things, landing gear, fuselage seams, and so on. And this one, which is the lowest grit, the polishing one, you can see that even that can be quite abrasive if you want it to be, and I'm pressing on quite hard here. And you can see there it's cutting through that varnish. And it's keeping it even. So I find it a good tool. It's the sort of tool that's really handy if you do a lot of curves. So if you're an aviation modeler and you've got a lot of curves, then yeah. On the military modelling side, really gun barrels and anything that's cylindrical. So you could do seams on these, for example, if you're of the mind, but it becomes a bit more limited. I mean, if you do dioramas, it has uses, barrels and things like that, and lampposts and stuff. Anything that's spherical, it will do quite nicely. And for ship modelling, it has limited uses. So I would say it's really for someone who does quite a lot of aircraft modelling. But it does do what it says. It takes a little bit of practice to how hard you have to push. But for me, if you go with a light touch, it tends to work the best. So there you have it. The Flexifile. It's a good introduction into their products. They have lots of different sanding sponges, and they have a glue solution as well, and various other bits. But I think this is the best tool that Flexifile do. Aluminium frame, abrasive tapes, quick change out, does exactly what it aims to do. Helps you reduce the likelihood of putting a flat on. I must say it is possible to put a flat on, but you have to try a bit harder than you might do if you were using an emery board. So there you have it, the Flexifile. I hope that was interesting and informative. Take care everyone, enjoy your modelling, and I'll see you very soon.